Jordan Scott, Dee Dee was kind enough to sponsor us last year. This is year 2. Thank you, Dee Dee. Second of all, McStats Printing for all your printing needs. They were kind enough to do our t-shirts again tonight. And McStats has been great to us for a lot of the races we put on in town, so we really appreciate that. New Beginning signs, our new finish line banners, which nobody's seen if you run a wire-to-wire race. You finished under our finish line before. What you've not seen are the placards that will now line the finish line, which are super cool. We got those from New Beginnings. Athletes Locker, everybody loves Landy. We're going to talk a little bit in just a second about the running program that we're launching from a youth perspective, but I want to thank Landy because he's been a big part of that. And then the Varsity Car Wash. So we will have the Varsity Runners of the Year presented by the Varsity Car Wash tonight as well. And I do want to thank Mel Mushroom. Melissa's back in our office back there, but David and I joke all the time that just behind that wall there's a table, and that's generally our boardroom. Where Wire to Wire holds lots of board meetings on Saturday afternoons. Kids are not invited to those board meetings. Adults are, however, invited to attend those board meetings. So one thing I would point out, though, first of all, who are we? And most everybody in this room knows, but I think it bears repeating to some of you that may not, and why we're doing this. So Dave and I both ran in college. Dave was a little more of a distance guy, I was a little more of a sprint guy. You never know it today, but we both have a passion for it. David obviously has been a long time, very successful high school coach in the cross-country ranks and track and field. I got into the community coaching aspect about 10 years ago. One thing led to another, really, and our passion for running in general is what led to the launch of Wire to Wire. You see us timing races. We've been very blessed, very fortunate to grow over the last 2 years. We're broadening our brand, not only outside of Cartersville. There's several of you in here who participate in the Rome Half Marathon. We're starting to do a lot of business in Rome and Northwest Georgia, but also in programs, which we're going to talk about in just a second as well, which is very important to us. But why the banquet? You guys are the stars, right? For whatever reason, in Bartow County, we love football. I love football. We love baseball. I love baseball, right? Basketball is huge too. We have a dominant cross-country genre, I don't have a better word, if that's not quite the word, tradition across Woodland and Cartersville High Schools and Cass High School and even Adairsville High School in Bartow County. And it's probably been far too long that went unrecognized. And I would love to take credit for it. I know Coach Mathern would love to take credit for it, but this gentleman over here who's either eyeing pizza or eyeing the camera, I'm not sure which, is probably the one that deserves the credit for it in terms of broadening the reach and the acknowledgement of cross-country inside of Bartow County. So if you don't know Coach David Bishop, well, you will shortly, but you need to. And you need to spend some time with the man because he's a wealth of knowledge. So, but long story short, Coach Bishop actually brought the idea to David and I a couple of years ago and said, nobody recognizes cross-country. There needs to be an all-county cross-country team. Your next question should be, why is it the Elite 10? It should be the Elite 20. We know. That may change next year, but for now, it's the Elite 10. 10 male, 10 female. What will? Elite 10 does sound better. That's why we kept it.
Elite 20 has the ability to put a W.
He's always thinking about marketing. Always about marketing. But from a why the banquet perspective, you men and women, deserve to be recognized. And that's what we're doing here tonight. The Daily Tribune's been a great supporter of ours in terms of providing coverage, and this will be in the paper as well. So this is really a recognition of you guys and your accomplishments and what you've done, and we thought it best to sort of do it at an individual level. So that's why the banquet. Last thing I'll tell you is sort of where are we going next? Everybody knows about the timing aspect. Everybody knows that we've started a couple of races on our own. We did the Cartersville 10K, we brought that back. We launched a charity, which a lot of you probably don't know. By the way, before I go too far with that, I do want to, my brain bounced there. I do want to thank a lot of you in the room here that have contributed to our charity and sponsored the races that we've done. Shoes for Kids is the name of the charity. It's for kids that probably can't afford running shoes otherwise, or track spikes, and they need to be devoted runners. And so that's what our Cartersville 10K went for. Dave and I give a percentage of profitability on everything we do to the Shoes for Kids charity fund. So we're looking to grow that for the track season. It's not only applying to 4 high schools in Bartow County, but also to Rome High School, Gordon Central High School. I sent one to the Darlington coach, and he said, "Coach, I coach at Darlington." No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was a joke. But I did send one to Kevin Hunt at Darlington, by the way. He's a good fellow, if anybody knows him. But anyway, so that's part of the charity. The next places we're going are our adult running program. This is important for everyone to know. Write this down. The official launch date of the Wire to Wire Running Club is August 1st for adults. So it's going to be very traditional to like an Atlanta Track Club. There will be a social every month. Here. There will be sort of track and field Tuesday events. There will be lecture series probably going to take place at Athletes Locker, covering all sorts of topics that we partner with Landy on that. So we're really excited about that. We're broadening into other forms of training as well. I think that probably most of you in the room by now have seen the announcement that we made last Monday. We are thrilled to be partnering with Coach David Gerlach. A lot of you know Coach Gerlach. He's awesome. We've known him for years. We can't get a hand, but by God, he can.
We hire good people.
That's right. You hire good people. No, I'm just kidding. So we've obviously known David a long time as well. And it's sort of a conversation that we've been having with him for 6 months, 7, 8 months, something like that. And we finally made it real. I would like David to just say 90 seconds worth of his vision of the program. We are going to break it down into a running club and an elite club. And the elite club will travel as an elite club. As Coach Landau, by the way, thank you to Coach Landau, Coach Forbes for being not only big supporters of us. There's a lot of rivalry that takes place in this kind of environment. These two guys are great. They recognize we're doing it for the greater good, and we recognize they're doing it for the greater good, and I mean that sincerely. I want to say thank you to you both for being here and for being good coaches. But we talked to Coach Landau and Coach Forbes because we want to make sure we're doing things the right way from a training perspective as well. But there are elite meets that we want to get into over the course of pre-track season. I say it that way because I don't want Coach Holloway to scream at me from Woodland, and I can't scream at myself at Cartersville. But post-track season as well in the summer. So Coach Gerlach, if you don't mind, make it brief. No, I'm just kidding.
It would be brief. Well, first, I'm extremely excited to be partnering with Wire to Wire. A lot of you started with me 3 years ago, and that was always my vision, was to take it to the ability to compete on a national basis. And I look around this room and I see kids and runners, boys and men, young men and women who can do that. And my vision was to, I didn't want these kids to go to Cobb County and Atlanta and have other people take advantage of it and letting them race, where I felt we could do that here. Anybody who knows me knows my passion for running and how much I get into it, how much I love coaching these kids. It's really what I think I was meant to do. You wouldn't know it, but in college I played football. And I played, semi-pro football. I was born to be a runner. I ran in high school, but I was born to be a runner, and I really think that my passion and my vision and my love for the sport carries over to my coaching of the kids, my athletes. I call them my athletes because they are my athletes. Coach Forbes and Coach Landau, I share my athletes with them, and many of these kids I have coached since they were in 5th, 6th, 7th grade. Been running with them since they were young. So my vision is that we can take this to a national level, both the elite kids and, my view is that the younger kids, the kids that aren't on the elite team are going to be fighting like cats and dogs to get on the elite team. But I want to be able to have 2 different types of clubs, teams. One's going to be the elite team, one's going to be the not elite team, but working towards the elite team. And I also think that by doing this, we can help these kids also earn college scholarships and work for their future. I think every one of these kids that are in this room have a future in running and can go far. And each one of them, I think, can get scholarships and use that for their education. So that's my vision. I'm extremely excited about partnering with Dave and Matt. We've been talking, like I said, about 6-7 months. We've been going back and forth, just talking, just bouncing things off. And then, and each year my program has grown. It started out with 3, 4, 5 kids, and then the next year it was doubled, and then this year it was 25 or 30 kids coming out. I was like, holy cow. God, look at all these kids that are out here run with me. I can tell, those that don't know me and haven't run with me, if you do run, and I see everybody in this room as part of our team, whether it's on the elite team right away or on the regular team, but working towards the elite team. But know that if you come out and work with us, you will work. And the athletes that run with me understand that. We work hard, but we also have a lot of fun. And I really do care about these guys a lot, but I really want to thank these guys for embracing this and seeing my vision and allowing me to live my dream. This is what like I said, this is what I meant to do. So I'm extremely excited. We'll be getting some more information out to you guys soon. We'll have a meeting here, probably here in a little bit. We got to work some details out, but we will be getting some information out to everybody, and we're going to have uniforms. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff, and you guys are you're going to like it. I can guarantee you that. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody, who's allowed me to coach their kids over the past 3, 4, 5 years, and now we're just going to continue on for, hopefully for a long period of time. So, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. He's not David back in uniform. We're like little kids in candy stores. David and I. This is David at Wire to Wire Running. That's Coach Gerlach at Wire to Wire Running. So if you send an email to David at Wire to Wire Running, it's not going there, it's going there. That's Coach Gerlach at Wire to Wire Running. But David and Matt went on a run last night, and he was telling me all about the design and how cool it was. And we've been talking about getting shirts lined up for the elite team because there's a meet coming up in a couple of weeks. We'd like to see if we can pull it off and get uniformed up with a singlet and get fitted at Landy's and the whole thing. So I called him. I said, "You're not going to believe the logo. It's super cool." It's I'm 11 years old. All right. So, by the way, congratulations to Woodland. I know your wings are coming. I saw the picture. Like Landall couldn't help himself. It was super cool though.
Everybody's seen how much you guys pretty much
So our keynote speaker tonight, for the next 8 minutes before we get into the awards, and we will be done by 8:30, probably before, by the way. I did put 8:30, go home and eat homework on there. Eat homework, do homework. We talked about having, and I want to introduce our guest speaker tonight. We talked about having Jay Stevenson, and some of you may know Jay. He is a great guy, and we will hopefully have Jay in next year. Jay was an elite runner at Barry. He owns Go-Go Running and Run. He does a lot for the running community, and he's a super guy. And we talked about having Jay in for a motivational speech, and that was the plan. Until Coach Bishop reminded us that one long-time cross-country coach with several state titles is retiring at the end of this year. Now he's still going to coach, right? But he's not going to teach English anymore. And so,
your grammar is going to go down.
You're either going to like the fact that he's no longer teaching English and he's around all the time to pull off of his infinite wisdom as a running community, or you're going to get really tired of his silly jokes. Because as the Carpenter people can tell you, he tells some really bad jokes. But that being said, I would like to introduce my business partner, David III. If you haven't ever talked to David about running and don't know his history, not only was he an All-American at Barry, but he was the Masters Mile champion the year before last at 52 years old. 53? 54, and he ran a what? A 4 what? 4:47 at 54 years old. So that's pretty smoking. So there's a wealth of knowledge in between those ears of that head that hasn't had a hair in a while, and I thought it would be great if he came up and gave you the keynote tonight, a little bit of motivation and what the next step is in life.
Thank you. He said 8 just then. I thought he said 80. So, whew, I'm going to have to do some editing here. And we did have conversations for a good 7 months. We need to have shorter conversations. It was like forever. I wrote a poem, and I'm going to read it to you. It's called Glycogen. Run. Stop. Pray. Continuously. Run. Run. Just as long as the Spirit is in you. There you go. It was pray, continue. I'm sorry, until the Spirit is in you. Okay. So that took me hours to write. I'm just kidding. It took Coach Terry and Coach Bishop and me hours to write. But seriously, I wrote it in about 15 seconds. And yet, it has a very important message, I feel. And that is similar to 1 Timothy 4:8, which says, bodily exercise is good for the lifetime, but spiritual exercise is good for eternity. Run, stop. Our careers will end at some point. Running will end. We'll get too old to do it, although we're living proof it's a long time before that happens. But it will end. An injury will end your season. But praying and praying unceasingly sets you up forever. And it's not the glory, it's the race. It's not the medals or the trophies, it's the chase. It's the process, which so many people talk about. And I'm here doing it again. I'm reiterating what so many people said in different ways. You know, Nick Saban says it's the process. Miley Cyrus says it's the climb. And Carly says it's the climber. So it really is that. It's about the moment, because you're on the podium, if you're on the podium, for 15 seconds. That's the 15 seconds of glory. Unless you're McKenna Travigan and you're up there for like 12, probably a good 12 seconds after that, because her name is so long. It takes a while to pronounce. So she's got almost 30 seconds. But seriously, you're up there for a fleeting moment. So the 15 seconds, that's the interval. The 15 seconds, that's the runner's high that we get. The 15 seconds, that's the experience if I finish that 12-mile run. Those go on and on and on and on. And they're just continuous. So that's the process that we have to enjoy. That's what the process of running gives us. If we're chasing that medal, we're chasing the wrong thing. I've chased a lot of those throughout my career. I'm chasing the wrong thing. Don't get me wrong, I want to win it. But it's hollow compared to the ultimate prize. And when they put that microphone in front of you, what are you going to say? That's your moment. What are you going to say? We worked so hard for a long time, and we might get a state championship. Congratulations. We might not. Last year, so close. But what are you going to say? A lot of the statements we might make are I statements. But I just wonder if you think about, before you get to that moment, all the people that you have to thank that are in this room. The parents, the grandparents, the coaches, the folks that lifted you to that point, the Lord. So, you have a chance to think about it before you get there. I asked Trevor Lawrence, because I taught Trevor twice English. He didn't fail. But I taught him his freshman year, I taught him his sophomore year. And I saw him right before he left. It was the last time he was in Cartersville. It was the week before he took off to Clemson. And I said, Trevor, what are you going to say when you get a moment? Because you're going to get moments. You know, we all knew he was going to be a media darling. And then he had a chance. He had a chance, if you listened to the extended interview, not the, the 15 seconds, because they're pushing the mic from coach to athlete to, different people at the awards ceremony. That 15 seconds doesn't last because they want to hear from a lot of people. And I said, this is what I told him. I said, please consider saying something about your linemen. Because without them, you're flat on your back. You've got to have good people around you to make it to the top. And when you get that moment, that's who you should thank. And as Coach Bishop started off with the blessing, he said it best. The skills that we have, yes, we do work hard, but let's remember where they come from. We ate a slice of pizza tonight. It's a big old pie. Well, there's a few slices left. But they usually cut those suckers into 8 pieces. So you got like an eighth. And that eighth of a slice represents, let's just say, an eighth of your life. No matter how long you live. And so youth is fleeting. It may only be one slice of your life. If you live 80 years, a slice is 10 years. Let's say from 10 to 20, you're in your youth. And running is a part of our life, but is it our whole life? Should it be our whole life? I've made a career out of running. And thanks to Coach Terry coming up with the idea of Wire to Wire, I continue to get to do what I love to do beyond another career, which I'm transitioning out of soon. But where else can you apply that glycogen? Where else can you apply the energy into your life? Because if running is all you have, if running is all you are, consider that, because that might need to change. Running is not my whole life, for those who don't know it, in the sense that I've made it my life, but it's not the thing that I would give anything for. And I had to learn that the hard way. The reason I'm telling you what I'm about to tell you is not at all to point a spotlight on me. But when I was in college, I reached the highest pinnacle that I felt like I could. And it was great. It was life-changing. It was like, hey, I've done this thing. I've worked so hard for it, and now they can never take it away from me. I'm going to be, an All-American forever. That's good. But as I learned more about life, I realized that that wasn't what I wanted to be defined as. And yet, that's the way people define me. The runner, Coach Mathern. So, how long does it take you to be an expert at something? Have you heard? Research says 10,000 hours to be an expert. If you ran for 365 days a year, you'd have to run 27 hours a day for 1 year. So you're not going to be an expert in 1 year. You're not going to be an expert in 4 years while you're in high school. You'd have to run 7 hours a day every day of the year for 4 straight years. If you run for 10 years, you only have to run for 3 hours a day or do something involved in running for 3 hours a day. And then after 10 years, you can be an expert. And we coaches know that. We know there's so much more to learn from you and from other, expert coaches. So Coach Gearlack brings a wealth of information, a different perspective. Coach Bishop, a wealth of information. We all learn from each other, the coaches and athletes. And as Coach Terry said, we're looking really forward to coaching athletes who want to be, reach their highest level. And that's what we plan to do. And I want to show you this and say, what is it that you're aiming for? And what is the key to that goal? Because we're goal setters. We athletes are goal setters. We know how to set goals, and we know how to work towards them. Differently than a lot of students that go to school with you, because they don't dig this sport. It's hard. It's very difficult. But you can eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? You can eat a pizza one bite at a time. You can also eat an airplane one bite at a time. Anybody seen this guy? MAH00055. That's actually not his real name. He's a Frenchman. That stands for man who eats it all. He was young and he was eating pennies. And you know enough about biology to know what ends up with that penny. And he was eating stuff like quarters when I guess pennies weren't good enough. And then he moved on to glass. And he thought, he's got a lot of attention. I could probably eat a bicycle one bite at a time if I really tried. He shaved all these little metal shavings, and he started to, don't try this at home, he started to gobble them down and pass them on. And so he did it. He ate a bicycle. Well, he got into the Guinness Book of World Records. That was after like the mental hospital maybe, but he got in, and then he said, bigger and better. I'm aiming high, baby. Going for an airplane. And he did. He did. There he is eating his bike. I remember this guy when I was young. He's been around a while. He's old now. He may be dead. Probably is. But, you know, I have no dreams of eating this podium or anything else. But I have different dreams, I have different goals. But you can do this one bite at a time. But what is it you're aiming for? And we're skinny people. We're runners, right? That's a disadvantage. Because the heavier people are harder to kidnap. So, just saying, you better be fast. But don't judge this man. Don't. You really need to walk a mile in his moccasins. Because if you walk a mile in his shoes, you'll be a mile away from him, and you'll have his shoes. So, don't judge until you've done that. But it's sometimes to be great, it's not what you do, it is what you don't do. Some champions have avoided certain things that you guys don't avoid. I'm talking good stuff here. I'm talking like the average student does not want to go out and exercise as much as we do. But also think about not only what you're doing, but what you're not doing. That could make you better. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of every single one. Even those that I cannot pronounce your name. I'll figure it out. Or I'm not pronouncing them, but they will. It doesn't matter how well we know each other. I think this is much better than last year, where we sat next to the people we knew. What we want is to have a team where we have socials, where we get to know each other at a better level, and then we can train together. And whether we win or not, and we will do our share of that, but whether we do or not is not going to be the most important thing. Relationships. The second climax of my life, athletically, is when I achieved something recently, and Coach Terry alluded to it. I got on that podium for 15 seconds. And if you stay at this game a long time, you'll win some stuff. But I got it, and it was what I was always looking forward to. I'd never won a state title. In college, I'd never won a national title. Titles, there's always someone better than you. There's always a Caitlin Toohey out there. There's always a Galen Rupp. There's always a Shelby Houlihan, who recently ran 14:36. And their records will go down too, as impressive as they are. And when I realized that you can take away my medal, but my faith, you cannot. And my family means far more than any of that anyway. And man, I did not realize it. I'd been chasing this dream for so long. And I finally had it. And I was like, you know what? This isn't what means the most to me. This is not what it's about. So, it's not the victory or the medal, it's the chase. It's not bodily exercise, it's spiritual exercise. And you keep running as long as the Spirit is in you. And when they put that microphone up to your face, what will your comment? What will your comment be?
Nice job. Welcome to my world, by the way. Small runs. But I tell you.
Ready, Coach?
That was a joke. But at the end of the run, the point is how it is. Thank you. Coach Bishop, are you ready? How are you going to present from over there?
We'll see. Yeah, that's right. Gotta make sure it's the right one, huh? All right.
Are you going to ladies first?
Ladies first.
Would you like mine?
Don't break this thing now. Maybe, just maybe. Or you can hold it. I know you'll do a fine job.
Are you coming?
Do you want this pointed at you? Dave, Coach, do you want this pointed at you here?
You can hold it or you can figure it out. I know you can.
You got a job.
By the way, just point of order. When the banquet is complete, in the sense that everybody has their awards, you cannot run out. We are taking a picture. Okay, so everybody plan to hang around if you're an athlete getting an award here tonight.
Thank you, Coach. Gerlach said he was born to coach. I was born to sing for my first number.
Two.
Our first runner. I gotta point this thing. Our sponsors. They do my hair.
Did she give you a coupon?
And my car does need washing. Anyway, our first runner is a freshman, Marley Bowles, who ran 21:23. And Marley, would you come up and receive your T-shirt and what do you call those things? Certificates. Certificates. 21:23 is pretty good for a freshman, or it's really pretty good for anybody. I can't run 21. And Banks Wilson, I saw, there he is. I knew I saw him somewhere. Wait.
You're alternate. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. As long as I know you're alternate.
Don't give him a girl shirt now. What grade are you in?
9th grade.
9th grade. That's pretty good for a freshman. Thought we were having an earthquake there for a minute. And Vanna Beach, you're not a freshman, but you will be next year, right? Yeah. All right. Vanna ran almost broke 21:07. And Vanna, were you featured last year? Were you in the top 10 last year?
Yes, sir.
I knew that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Jacob is not here. He's probably running right now, but I bet tomorrow at school they will track him down and give him a certificate. Erica's here. I saw her back there. Another freshman. And she did break 21 minutes. And that's pretty incredible. And were you the region champion in middle school 2 years ago? Yes, I thought you might be. Congratulations. And Levi's here. Give us that Pepsodent smile. Just like he does. Do they know what Pepsodent is?
Seth knows they got that word.
Congratulations, Levi. What grade are you? Freshman. That's incredible. Yeah, if you want to. Slight delay.
Here we go. Come around. Come on. Come on. What's up?
Is it working?
Yeah, she's right here.
Yay! And here is Alex, and there is Alex.
Straight out of Cali. Don't cry. Don't cry.
She's in California in body, but in spirit, she's sitting right here at the marshmallow.
Here's your certificate. Show us. Put your hand out. Put your hand out. There it is. All right, Miss. Did you run today? Get some miles in? Don't lie to me like that. I'll give you back the D. You did? Really? Track season started, for crying out loud. It's here, I'm going to give you back the D.
Coach, it's only 4 o'clock here. You still have time.
Come over here.
Alex, who is a sophomore, and she moved. When did she move?
Christmas.
At the end of the Christmas. At the end of the semester. And Parker is here somewhere. There he is. And Parker is a senior and has a great looking shirt on. I commend you on your choice of clothing this day. And Parker told me before the season was out, before the state meet, he said, you know, he wasn't sure exactly which college he was going to go to, but he was going to run in college, wherever that is. So that is commendable to have that drive.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Cheyenne is another senior, and you're not giving up running either, are you? And where would you be running next year?
North Georgia. University of North Georgia.
The University of North Georgia. She will be close enough that we can maybe see her run a race or two, and she'll probably come and see her teammates a time or two. And congratulations on signing with North Georgia, and we'll be looking on the internet for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Cheyenne ran 1953, and just a very few years ago, if a girl broke 20, that was incredible. And I think we had 6 girls break 20 minutes this year, and that's boggles my mind. but that's not too hard. Harrison Banks is another senior, and here he comes. And he ran 17:27, and he would have been maybe the second or third fastest time with that 17:27 last year, I'm pretty sure. Bill, you would have been third? Would have been second? Okay, but I mean, 17:27 is fast. And previous to this season, what was your best time?
19:30.
So, a couple of minutes improvement. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Congratulations. Bailey Evans, another senior girl, and you are going to be running next year at
Troy University.
Troy University. Used to be called Troy State University, but Troy University, okay, in Alabama.
Yes.
And we'll be keeping up with you, and you tell the coach that they need to schedule a meet in Georgia,
Okay, I will.
so we can come see you in person. And again, 1926, that's a pretty incredible time, I guarantee you. Thank you. Dylan, I haven't seen anybody look like the Dylan that I saw this fall. But maybe, I think his cousin is coming forward at this time. He had long hair about a year ago, then it got shorter as in this picture, and now it's even shorter. And mine is too. But 17, 18. And what grade are you in? Junior? Same as Dylan. That's good. And Riley Evans. And what grade? Freshman also. How did you do in the middle school state meet last year? You won it. Wow. And how did you do as a team this year? Wow. There's a common factor there. And you're it. 1913. That's really good. My question to the Evans sisters, can you outrun your dad?
No.
I thought so. I thought so.
They've been out running for 10 years.
And Max is here. And, this picture was up here. Was that in North Carolina? In North Carolina. And what was the temperature? Too cold. About the same it is here today. So we got Max when they went up and ran the Foot Locker race. And 17:12. That's good. And you're a junior, right? All right. And Carly, another junior. 1911. And what place did you finish in the state meet this year? 10th place. And your team won by how many points?
3.
3. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, we have been watching Carly run very fast for 3 years. Well, longer than that actually, but in high school 3 years. All right. Well, thank you, Carly, for running fast again this year. And John? John, you're a junior, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how did you do as a sophomore in cross country?
I didn't run.
Oh. So 1707 for a first-year cross-country guy. That's really, really, really good. And I knew there was a girl sitting over there on the far side, but I couldn't figure out who it was, but I did. Her hair has gotten darker and mine's gotten lighter. Congratulations, Tess. This is a repeat performance, I guess you would say, that again, she is one of the top runners in Bartow County and in the state. And what place did you finish in the state meet? One of those. Is this picture at the state championships? Yes, it is. And Alex is, woo. Oh, good. I'm scared. And Alex, what grade are you in? A freshman. And you ran 16:54 and change. That's Coach McThurn. If you had a freshman run 16:54.
Sadly, he didn't make the top 3 freshmen, but he was very close, and he has more potential than the others.
All right. Well, I was just floored. Congratulations, Alex, on a very successful season. And I believe this picture might be at the state meet. And I think that's my shadow on the left side. Maybe. And where is this? Did I spell her name right or not? Probably not. But it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And what place did you finish in the state meet? Now, I heard that a lot of these, your teammates, pass a lot of people the last half mile or mile or whatever. And how many did you pass? Not a one. Because she led wire to wire, pretty much. Thank you for that. I've got goosebumps with this time, but it may have been that pizza. I'm not real sure. But anyway, Coach Terry wants to award something to her.
No, I just want to stress that we started a new award this year. We had the runner the year last year, but we're fortunate with our friends from the Varsity Car Wash, so go see them. From henceforth and forevermore, it will be the Varsity, get it? Car Wash Cross Country Runner of the Year, female, obviously, McKenna Trapper.
And 1759 is the all-time best, as far as we know. There were cavemen, I think, when we first started. But this 1759 is the fastest ever so far. So far.
He ranked real high on the boys' all list.
Yeah. But congratulations on an individual state championship and a team state championship. That's very, very good. And this screen up here, I thought I had a lot of wrinkles, but it looks like you've got more than me. And our male runner of the year, is this the first time you've ever been the fastest guy in Bartow County? No, he won it last year as a freshman, and as a sophomore he's repeating. The pressure's on. 16:41 this year.
We ran out.
We had to go low budget,
I tried to miss the most.
Yeah.
We only do that because it's our boy Bill. Bill Archer, the varsity car wash male cross-country runner.
Is that all for the awards? Not really. We got to have the seniors. We got to have the seniors come forward. Yeah, now. Oh, Jacob, this is the other one. I was going to say, wait a minute. So, the people at Troy will know that you came from Bartow County. We'll give you the commemorative backpack. Up there in Dahlonega, they have burlap life. Savannah. Now, I won't make a joke about turning letters or nothing like that. And Parker. And thanks. And well, they will serve as potato sacks as well. And I got one for Jacob, and I'm going to give it. You'll see him for sure tomorrow. And I thought there were 5, but then I figured out there were 6. If I'd come up short, somebody would have got this right here. But Coach Terry made fun of my orange socks.
Rightfully so.
Well, I heard you say Bishop socks. And so, these never been worn. Matter of fact, the socks I'm wearing have never been worn till today. But anyway, here are you some orange socks. And thank you, seniors. And you can go sit down now. Well, McKenna's not a senior, and neither is Bill, but will Bill and McKenna come up here? You're not getting my cap. Don't think about that. My nickname's that right there, because a lot of times people say that when they get to pick out a seamless head wrap, girls first. And Bill got one last year. I didn't bring the black ones back. They're still in. It's a pretty big decision. Oh, she got the flames. She got the flames.
So does that mean I have to get the butterflies?
You can go with Argyle.
Classic.
Or just whatever. Okay? Is that it? But they'll be wearing them to school tomorrow. And everybody will be pointing at them and smiling and saying, I wonder where they got those things. And I think I'm done.
I will say, as long as we're fortunate to run a business, as long as we're fortunate to put this banquet on, you cannot get a better master of ceremonies for award presentation than Coach David Bishop. So how about one more time for it? Hopefully never to be replaced in this role, as he's a wealth of knowledge around all things running. And truly, as Coach Mathern and I call him, the ambassador of running for Bartow County, which I don't think a better title should apply or will apply. Listen, thank you guys very much for coming. I know I'll speak on behalf of David. Would you like to?
I'm glad I came.
Yeah, he's glad he came too.
We'll come next year.
We could come next year. We really want to appreciate everybody. I don't know what it says, lots of sports have their banquets in churches, and ours is in a bar. But what I will tell you is that runners are active, right? We're a running community. I would ask that all the athletes here, and parents for that matter, don't forget that. We leave and we go over there and we put purple on, and Coach Bishop would leave and go put blue on, and Coach Landau and Forbes put that maroonish thing on, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But the point is that, you know what, we get along. We get along. We train with each other, we run with each other, we want to kill each other on the track and on cross country. But it doesn't mean that we don't all get along. And it's one great big happy running community, and runners tend to stick together, and runners run with runners. And good runners know good runners. And I know that's oversimplified, but it's a fact. And you like to train with good runners. Hopefully that's what we're trying to accomplish with our youth running program with Coach Gerlach. Hopefully that's what we're trying to aspire to be in Northwest Georgia in terms of running a business and spreading the gospel of running, if you will, across the land that we live in here, because it is an unrecognized sport in an area. We all love football, we all love baseball, we all love basketball. I do. I'm a Florida State grad. We don't play football anymore, by the way. That's a different discussion. But running is a passionate sport, and it needs to be promoted as such. And part of David and I's mission is to make sure that it's promoted and to draw attention to it. So if you see us out there with our brand, you see us out there with an infomercial, are we running a business? Yes. But we're also evangelists for running. And that's what we're trying to do locally and broaden the reach. So thank you all for coming. Everybody drive safely going home. If you're an athlete, which there should be 18 of you, one not here, we'll deal with him later. One on the phone on FaceTime. Everybody wave to Alex in California. We're going to meet back here at the back for a picture. Parents, thank you so much for supporting your kids in running. I'm the dad of a daughter that I wish was here. She's a sophomore, and she's usually number 4 or 5 for us on the cross country team, and I got another one coming up next year. So I'm a passionate running parent too, and I appreciate all that you guys do in dragging them around. They get in the car, they stink. You know, we know how it goes. It's just all part of the process. But we really appreciate you guys and dragging them out here tonight and making it a nice evening. So be careful going home, athletes behind the wall. Everybody have a good night. Thank you.